Hello everybody, welcome back. If you saw my last video, you know what's coming next. And chances are, if you saw the thumbnail and the title for this video, then you know what's coming next as well. Today, we're reviewing the bread and butter of Burago, the Ferrari diecasts. Burago still remain one of the few brands that can actually produce Ferrari diecasts. They usually make sure it's a special sort of company that can produce these. So I'm glad that Burago is the one. Burago is one of them. And today I've got something I did not know existed. I think it's relatively new. It is a double pack. A double pack from Burago. Like I said, I think these are relatively new. I've seen a double pack for the 2023 Red Bulls. And I think the 2023 Mercedes as well. But the only 2024 double pack I've seen is for this one right here, the Ferrari diecast. So I figured, yeah, I better get this one. Back in the day when I first started reviewing F1 diecasts, it was pretty common that I reviewed, especially with the Burago cars, that I reviewed both of them at the same time. Haven't done it since the 2022 Alfa Romeos, just because the way I've gotten these cars have changed so much. I still buy a lot of them on eBay, but you can find them in stores now for way cheaper usually. So if I don't think I really am going to care that much, if I don't have both, I'll usually just buy the one. But it's Ferrari, you know, it's the bread and butter. Burago put all of their effort into the Ferrari diecast. They're usually the best that they do. So I figured, you know, why not get both? And also, I've never reviewed a Carlos Sainz diecast before. I own a couple, but I've never done a review on them. So let's jump in to this double pack. Also, oh wow, it's actually got a tab here. Also, worth mentioning, double packs. I haven't reviewed a double pack since the Mini Champs, the 2018 Toro Rossos, and the 2018 Force Indias. Those were double packs. The rest of the cars, if I reviewed them together, were two singles. We've got the bright yellow box here. That's very, very eye-catching. Here is Carlos Sainz up close. And here is Charles Leclerc. As I said, these Ferrari diecasts are exciting. I can already see they've got the... Oh, it's got a little bit more... It's a little bit better. It's not as loose as the Mercedes radio antenna was, if you saw my last video. Let's get these cars off the base. They might not even be screwed on. Oh, wow, they're not. Very easy to get these cars off the base. That is very cool. Very glad for that. They'll be very easy to put back on the base as well. Although, when it comes to the Burago cars, I usually don't put them back on the base. We're going to start here with Carlos Sainz, because as I mentioned, I have never reviewed a Carlos Sainz diecast before. And, you know, hot take about Carlos Sainz, I don't think he deserved to lose his ride at Ferrari. Maybe that's not a hot take at all. I think he did everything he could do to deserve keeping that ride, and it's only because of a freak incident where Lewis Hamilton decided to leave Mercedes that he did lose his ride. So it's quite sad. You know, my opinion of Carlos Sainz has kind of swapped around at Ferrari while he was at Ferrari, but definitely I think he deserved to keep his seat. So we'll see what he does at Williams. And I'm just giving you guys the once over, the look at the car. There are some interesting things, you know, about this car. I've noticed them throughout the box, so we'll take a close look. Starting with the front wing, I actually really like this front wing because it's got a lot going on. You know, they've had to do extra painting and decal work to go from black to red to white. I think that's pretty impressive for a Burago car. It's not perfect. You can see kind of around the brackets, the paint kind of breaks up a little bit. But, you know, if you're new to this channel, Burago, the cheapest diecast you can get. It's a toy, no doubt. This is not a model. But, you know, I'm impressed when they go the extra mile and get it done right. I'm sure on a Look Smart, this is done way better. But a Look Smart is like $170. So, you know, I think you'd rather pay, you know, like 20 and as opposed to 170. One thing, I thought that this little winglet, this little black winglet, was just painted on there and not actually a winglet. It looks, I mean, it looks like it's just painted on there, but there is, when you can feel it. When you put your finger on it, you can feel it. So it is not just a painted on detail, which is kind of surprising because they definitely could have just painted it on there, and I wouldn't have, I mean, I would have noticed because I thought it was, but they went the extra mile, I guess. Another thing, the suspension is actually detailed like carbon fiber. The Mercedes that I just reviewed, you can see it's black, but it doesn't have any of the pattern, the carbon fiber pattern, except for some reason, the steering arms below, you can see it there, it does have it. I don't know why they couldn't do it on the suspension up here, but I don't know what I was about to say. Burago go their extra mile for the Ferrari diecast. I'm assuming Ferrari has kind of higher quality control standards. I wish they could do it on all the diecasts because the Red Bulls don't always look good either with the suspension. But nevertheless, let's continue on. The halo, this is painted detail. So the Mercedes, showing this car a lot even though it was the last video, the Mercedes did actually have molded on detail for the halo winglet. You can see there's kind of a bump there for where the halo winglet is supposed to be. But this one is just painted on there, which is a little disappointing maybe, but it is pretty good for just being painted on there. I guess it's a decal, but it's looking okay. The paneling detail on the Ferrari diecast is a lot better. I'm not sure what's going on here. I know this is part of the Ferrari car, but there's no vents or anything. It's just, I mean, I guess this is one singular vent that kind of the air can flow through. It's very strange looking because it typically doesn't look like that. And it's just a shame that the sort of bathtub design that the 2022 and 2023 Ferraris had is gone. I'll show that. I'll show what I'm talking about in just a second if you don't remember, because we'll look at the 2023 Ferrari. But yeah, this is pretty much everyone copying Red Bull at this point. Red Bull got it right, so they have the Red Bull side pods. So yeah, this is not as unique as the other Ferraris, but it did quite well. I think they won, 4 races last year. Speaking of wins, let's talk about Carlos Sainz a little bit more. We'll look at the rear wing and the other parts on the Charles Leclerc diecast. Carlos Sainz, I thought he had a great season, winning 2 races, and honestly, like his win in Australia, this might be kind of weird. I don't know. For all the fun things, for all the cool things that happened in 2024, one of my favorite memories will always be Carlos Sainz passing Max Verstappen in Australia, and then Max Verstappen having that brake failure. I know you shouldn't wish drivers have issues, wish drivers retire from the races, but in that case, coming off of the Red Bull dominance of 2022 and 2023, it was a great breath of fresh air to see something, just anything happen to Red Bull. And Carlos Sainz was the one who delivered it a week or so, or at least a race after he had appendicitis. So very, very cool. Like I said, I think Carlos Sainz did everything to keep his job. If I remember correctly, Lewis Hamilton announced he was leaving before the season even began. So it was kind of a lame duck season for Carlos Sainz. No matter what he did, he was losing his ride at Ferrari, which is a shame. I think people will probably critique his 2023 season and 2022 as well. He wasn't always consistent. The weird thing about Carlos Sainz is that every year he was at Ferrari, he would go on this string of 4 races where he just was better than Charles Leclerc. And then after that 4th race, he would just kind of fall off again. I don't know. A very weird thing. T-Cam is yellow on this because he's the second driver. I feel like this camera is supposed to be black, but it is red. So yeah, that is Carlos Sainz. And now let's take a look at the Charles Leclerc diecast, and I'll yap more about random shit. Here is Charles Leclerc. We'll take a look at the rear wing kind of more closely now because I didn't really, but let's go over the other parts of the car just to see there's anything that this car is missing that the Carlos Sainz was not missing, or is there a detail? Everything looks about the same. Black T-cam here. You know, Ferrari, it's a team, I probably haven't said it on this channel a lot, but Ferrari is a team that I feel like, wow, it's even got carbon fiber detail up here on the DRS activation point, whatever you call it. Just bare black rear wing, and then we've got the stickers. They're a lot smaller, so they don't look too bad. There's a bit of red paint in the exhaust there. Hope that's not a mechanical issue. Ferrari is a team I'm a little hard on sometimes because I think that they have access to any driver they want, any mechanic they want. They'll work for Ferrari. These are yellow, or these are white on the Charles Leclerc, and they are yellow on Carlos Sainz. Interesting. Anyway, back to the point. They have access to the best drivers in the world if they want them, the best mechanics in the world. And there was a while, I don't know if they still do this, where F1 would just pay Ferrari, like, for being Ferrari, because it was the longest running team. I think Williams got a little bit of money too, like a historical thanks for sticking around. I wonder if it's supposed to be black under here. You can see it kind of fades from red to black way underneath the side pod there. I wonder if that's how it's supposed to look. Anyway, though, I'm trying to get a point out here. So the fact that Ferrari haven't won a championship since 2008 and a driver's championship since 2007, that was kind of outrageous to me. However, I haven't felt that way in a little while because I think 2023 and 2024 haven't been terrible for Ferrari. They weren't the best. But, you know, on their day in 2024, they had the best car at some races, you know? And I don't remember anything incredibly embarrassing happening in the 2024 season, like what happened in 2022. That was a disastrous season, I think, for Ferrari. And that's kind of where I think they earned a lot of criticism, from myself included. And I think they've done their job to be better. Even though they're still not the best, they won the big races this year. They won the Monaco Grand Prix with Charles Leclerc. They won the Italian Grand Prix with Charles Leclerc. It's been a much better couple of years for Ferrari. I'm curious to see where they go from here with Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc. I'm excited to see Charles Leclerc maybe, hopefully, contend for a championship for real. I think Lewis Hamilton will bring the pressure on for Charles Leclerc, and we will see what he can do. In terms of these diecasts, I think I like the Charles Leclerc better just because I actually, even though it's such a subtle thing, I like the white on this over the yellow. I'd love to see Burago make a 143 scale version of the Miami Grand Prix car. If they do, I will review that as well. But yeah, this is very good. You know, like I've said it a million times in this fucking video. Burago bring their A game for Ferrari, and of course this is really the only way you can get Ferrari for a decent price right now. No other brands are really doing it. Spark don't make 164 scale Ferraris. Hot Wheels aren't making Ferraris. So if you want a cheap Ferrari diecast, this is really the only way you can go. And so I think Burago know that, and so they get some more detail going, although I wish all the details on all the cars were as good as they are for the Ferrari cars. Let's do some comparisons. Of course, as I was saying I would do, here is the Charles Leclerc, the 2023 Charles Leclerc. And we also have the 2022 Burago Ferrari, also Charles Leclerc. I still think that the 2022 is probably my favorite. I think this red is the best looking red that Ferrari's had for many years. I don't hate the bright red on this one, the 2023. Here's the bathtub design I was talking about, how it kind of dips, it sinks into itself here, and we've got the vents here. That is not present on this car at all. It just has a very typical straight sort of side pod. But yeah, back to the comparison. I like the red on this car. I like the black front wing and sort of the black accents that this car has a little bit more than this car has a little bit more red on it. So I'm in between right now of which one I like better between 2024 and 2023. Let me know, guys, what you think about this in the comments. And of course, there's a black accent here, so they could do some weight reduction, take the paint off of it. But everyone's doing that. Yeah, it's a Ferrari. It's a nice looking car. It's got the red wheel covers now. I did not know that they did that. I think that helps with the accents too. And pulling things back so we can take a look at all of the 2024 diecasts we have so far. Here's the two Ferraris. Add on the 2024 Mercedes that we looked at last time. I don't think I'm going to be able to fit them all on the camera. Of course, we've got the 2024 McLaren. I'm definitely not going to be able to fit them all on camera here. It doesn't matter, though, how good all these Burago cars look, because they're always going to get beaten by the big brands, the big guys. And this is the mini champs, Yuki Tsunoda, which is just going to beat on the Burago every single day because of the detail that this car has. But I probably shouldn't dwell too much on the Burago car, or the mini champs car, because we're talking about Buragos. So which one should I review next? I mean, there's not a whole lot left, but I guess there's Alpine and there's Red Bull, of course. I can't dodge the Red Bull forever. The reason I haven't looked at the Red Bull yet is because I haven't found it yet. At least not for a good price, you know. Hey, here's the thing, guys. I know what the Red Bull's going to look like. I don't even have to buy it to know that this is what the Red Bull's going to look like. I could just lie and say that this is the 2024 Red Bull, but it's not, you know. This is the RB19. But we all know it's going to look like this. So, yeah, I'm happy to wait to find the lowest price possible on a car I basically already own like 5 times. Anyway, though, that's going to do it for this video. Ferrari, as always, Burago hit it out of the park, at least to the best of their ability. This is a good-looking car. If you are curious of if you want to get if you only could get one Burago car, then yeah, you probably should get the Ferrari over the rest of them. As Sebastian Vettel said, if you're a fan of F1, you're a fan of Ferrari, even if you don't think you are. So why not just give in to Ferrari and bring them into your home? And I don't really know where I'm going with this. That's going to do it for this video. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next one.